we have to realize that just because we're people of faith and we've got a relationship with God, it doesn't make us immune from, or our kids immune from, going through some of the struggles that every kid goes through.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great if there was that equation that if you just do these things, that everything will work out okay? And I think that's one of the hardest things, is that so many parents, when they see their child begin to struggle, they either guilt them or shame them or embarrass them, and perhaps not provide a place of rest where these kids who are being hit by a culture that is so difficult and so hard on them don't have a place to come to get refreshment and encouragement to move on. But sometimes they get ridiculed. Sometimes they get judged. Sometimes they start moving away. And so parents are always asking the question, well, how do good kids end up rebelling against parents? And I go, it's because they're looking for something, perhaps a sense of love that they're not feeling, perhaps a sense of rest that they're longing for. And I think kids today want to connect more than anything else. They communicate well. They do not connect well at all. And so those three things, they will go out and find it somewhere if they don't feel like they get that at home.
One interesting thing you said that really caught my attention was if I have a son or a daughter, if we have teens that are maybe expressing inappropriate behavior, that's not necessarily a sign or a meaning that they are rebellious.
That's right. I think you have to have boundaries and rules and consequences in place to kind of guide and direct that what you're doing within your home. There's no doubt that you have to have that. But I think just because a child is rebelling, perhaps it's because you're not letting the rope out quick enough. Perhaps you're not giving them the freedom that they need. I haven't seen too many rebellious kids. We've had 2,500 of them live with us. I think most of them are responding or reacting to situations. I do think that Christian kids, though, they fight for their freedom and independence, and parents need to give them a little bit more than they do so that they don't have to fight for it. And sometimes you have kids that are going through a difficult time and start rebelling. They may be the healthiest kid in the whole family. Yeah. Because they're saying what they're saying to their family is, wait a minute, we're not working well. This isn't working. Right. Yeah, something's not right, and I'm just young enough and probably excited enough or anxious enough that I'm going to stand up to this, and I'm not putting up with it anymore. It's difficult, but that may be a sign of healthiness, that a child is understanding that, and so then you engage with them differently rather than feeling like they are rebelling. And usually when they do that, you want to squelch them and put them down, or I don't think we ought to be doing that as much. I believe in consequences. I believe in rules. I believe in boundaries. I believe in strong consequences. But I believe in loving a child in such a way that they know that there's nothing that they can do to make me love them more, and there's nothing they can do to make me love them less.
What are some of the warning signs, though, Mark, that we need to be aware of or kind of conscious of when it comes to seeing changes in our teens?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, parents need to pick up on this because things can deteriorate quickly. If you see your child change their types of friends or the close friends, if you see them rejecting those things that they once loved, if it becomes a little bit dark, a child doesn't want to get out of bed, doesn't want to listen to you anymore, starts barking back at you a little bit in anger, or you feel them kind of withdrawing from people, hating the things they once loved and now loving the things that they once hate, those are signs that something is going on. And it's not always the behavior. The behavior, if it's inappropriate, there needs to be consequences. But look beyond that and look to the heart of a child and say, what are the issues that are not working with this child? What needs to be different so that I can move toward them during their difficulty and not walk away from them?
And when it comes to, if those warning signs are there, and there's a real concern that we have to really kind of reach out now or make some changes within ourselves or the way we're parenting or in our home. What are some things that parents can do to maybe reestablish that connection point, that communication point with a son or a daughter?
Yeah, and that's a great question. Parents usually find out they're doing something wrong at a point of conflict. But conflict is always a precursor to change as well. I think there's something about a parent saying, you know what, we need to sit down and talk. We need to have a discussion about some things. We've been doing some things wrong. I've been doing something wrong, but we can't allow this to continue. And so what you do is say, we're going to make some changes. And you start lining out how to do those changes. And of course, that's what I write books about and everything else, to help people learn how to do that in such a way that engages a child, helps them become more responsible, and moves them on to maturity. So, because that's what you want out of these kids.
Well, Mark, thanks for joining us today and sharing your heart and your story.